Don't you hate it when you get a phone call right when you're about to start your stream? Yeah, me too. Hey, Bobby. Oh, she's thinking about it. Oh, you can't see her. Oh. Oh, let me do this. Ah. Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Got a problem. All right, well. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what's going to happen. Hello. Starting off strong. We're starting off strong today. Okay? I'm going to restart that. See if there's something up with this. So hello, how are you doing? Happy Thursday. It's been a busy week. Oh my God, has it been busy. May is just crazy. I'm looking forward to June. Got birthday happening tomorrow and Saturday for Wyatt. Let's do Rose Thorn Bud. Let's just get into it. Rose. What are my roses? Oh, I saw my friend yesterday and I was in Brooklyn and I saw my friend and oh, hey Rafi. Hey, how you doing? I saw Eric Mortensen. So seeing friends and I'm going to see him again soon. Weekend. That was good. That's my rose. Thorn, I think, you know, this process, I have spent like 2 days. Oh, happy birthday, Wyatt. Yeah, I will pass that along. He's turning 12. Can't even believe it. 12 years old. He's almost a teenager. We're in for it. 12 teen. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I've been working on 2 days for trying to get like a good sample videos to build this safety profile, and it's tough. It's bleak out there. Like searching YouTube is terrible. And then you got to jump through hoops to get the video off YouTube. And I'm trying to avoid that. I don't even want to use YouTube. But I suppose that's what people do. So, Thorn. Safety. Samples. I gotta find a better solution for this iPad. This iPad's like all weird and wonky. Yeah, that's my Thorn. Oh, let's see if Bobby's back. Bobby, are you there? Sign. It's a good sign.
Yeah, I'm here. Happy almost birthday to Wyatt 12 is when they start debugging your soul. Also, stop doom scrolling YouTube for safety samples and make your own tiny test clips. Way faster, way less bleak. And that iPad, if it's wonky, it's begging for a reboot and an exorcism.
You know, that's actually a pretty good idea, Bobby. I should just like set up the camera and do a little acting. So what kind of safety? Let's
Yeah, Putate, become the YouTube you wish to see in the world. Just do 1,020-second clips. Safe, unsafe, edge case. Then label them like you're training a goldfish. Bonus, you control lighting, framing, and nobody copyright strikes your face. Also, if you need props, I volunteer stream chat as the hazard.
So what we're trying to do is we already have this product that can see engagement, and we've been using it with minor league baseball teams. You probably, I don't know if you've watched the stream at all, but we've been showing that off a lot. And what we're trying to do now is build a profile for using the same kind of computer vision where we can see faces, we can see body pose, we can see motion, and build a profile that will see safety or see unsafe situations. And what I want to really focus on is the reaction that people are having to unsafe situations, because I think there's a big gap there. And the idea is if you can see people who are seeing a problem and they're reacting in a way that suggests a problem, then you effectively can see that there's a problem. And so in a very real way, we'll be able to see many different kinds of safety, like potential hazards. It could be a medical thing. It could be like a slip and fall. It could be a fire. It could be, somebody doing something illegal. And people would generally react in similar ways. And we'd be able to see that. And it could even be happening off camera, but as long as you're seeing people who are seeing it and reacting, you're effectively seeing it. And so that's what we're working on now. And that'll be kind of one of the ways that we get our feet in the door with Vi, is by being able to tell people at our product, you'll be able to see, potential safety issues. Even if you already have an AI solution for your cameras, this is a totally different approach and will be complementary to whatever you have. And then from there, you can get into engagement, satisfaction, other stuff. That's what we're working on. But to build that, I need good examples. And that's where I've been stuck. So, yeah. Bud. What is the bud? I think June. June's the bud. I'm looking forward to June so I can just focus on stuff, not have so many things happening. Yeah. Ship it. That's our rose thorn bud for today. I need to come up with, I think, a better. The writing is too thin, and I can't make the pen any bigger. And I can use like a highlighter marker, but it doesn't show up for some reason. I don't understand. But for now, ship it. Okay, so let's just do this. We're gonna hit the eraser. I'm gonna erase all this, and then yeah, that's that. And then I can close the iPad, put it away, come back to it later if we need. Okay, that's that. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna switch over here. And what I've been starting to think about, I did actually just hand find a bunch of clips yesterday. I spent a couple hours just looking through search terms on YouTube and pulling down clips. And right now I've got about, on a different machine. Oh, I should put this in my library. I think this is in source, YTD, data. Yeah, here are my samples. Okay, so we're gonna move these samples over into our workspace. And then one of the things I wanna start to get into is leveraging a VLM. We haven't done that yet. I haven't ever set up a local VLM. I've used them, through a UI, but I haven't set it up locally yet. And that's what we're gonna start with today. And we're gonna use the VLM to look at these samples. I'm not even gonna look at them. Use the VLM to look at these samples, figure out if, based on what it sees, if they're good and relevant and where we should cut them, because a lot of them are like, YouTube edits. Look at this crazy thing that was caught on camera kind of stuff. And it's like 20 amazing things, that kind of stuff. Let me dig into some files from my vision session at MIT and see if they gave us sample videos. I would love that. That would be awesome, actually. But yeah, I would guess, yeah, that makes sense that they would be driving. Okay, what are we doing? Oh yeah. So we're going to workspaces, we're going to model improvement. Now, we actually started the process of, let me open this up in my code session. We started the process of setting this up so that we could have multiple things happening in parallel. And we were going to use a get thing that I've never used before. And I forgot what it was even called. So let's get into here. You come here. You parallel experiments. Work trees. Yes. I've never used work trees. So, but I think the current main that we're in is the same sort of thing that we're doing. So we don't have to use the work tree yet. So what I'm going to do is in here, I think it was in dev data. Oh my my god, what a mess. Safety baseline, yeah, that's what it was. Safety baseline. Clips. Okay, so we're gonna grab these. So frost thinner, source, YouTube downloader, data, sample star dot mp4 here. Boom. There we go. All right, now I think where we're gonna set up this VLM is on, oh, this thing always wants to update. I think we're gonna use Harpoon. Harpoon is a Mac Mini that we've got just kind of hanging around, and it is a good candidate for this. Claude and I discussed this already. And Harpoon seemed like a good fit. So what we're going to do, I think we're gonna make this a workspace too. I'm gonna start really just leaning in on the workspace concept. We're gonna say VLM safety analysis. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and new window this guy. And we're gonna go ahead and hit this guy, and we're gonna connect to Harpoon. Yep. You. How are you, Rafi? I haven't heard from you in a long time. How you been? Thanks for popping over and saying something. I love to hear from people. Just the folder. All right. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is create a README. Need a Claude MD. Yep. And let's just go over here. I'm still doing the copy paste thing on these Claude MDs. That's okay. I don't have like the canonical version of it yet. Each one is a little bit different. I think we're only going to take a couple things from this. Setup, yeah. We don't need that yet. 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 We don't need that. When to write what? So this is the big one, change process. This I would recommend anyone who does Claude stuff to put in your Claude MD a change process that involves a history MD file. This has been the biggest win for me. Making a change big enough to add a history MD entry in the date, brief description, review, README, and Claude MD for accuracy. Change ratifies and not. Okay, so this we take out because this isn't part of this. Okay. And I need a history MD as a template. Where's my history MD? Did you put it under here? Brother. It must be in here. Roadmap. Pyramids. Hypotheses? No, it's not under any of these. Oh. Okay, well, let's just grab another one. New file, history MD. Okay, boom. And this is going to be, oops. And I kind of like, you know what? I've been tweaking this too. I kind of like the full-on date format. Start, initialize workspace. Workspace initialized with README and README just say history MD. There you go. Okay, there's that. But about. All right. Read me. What is this thing? All right. BLM Safety Analysis Workspace. This workspace is for R&D around using BLMs in combination with our own model. Expression, stand, model, pipeline, video, expression, standalone. To identify good sample videos for determining or for creating a pipeline profile for detecting unsafe situations via human reaction. Okay. Our pipeline can detect facial expressions, estimate pose, and track we could add support for tracking motion. We want to identify potential, I already said that basically. When looking for good candidates, we should identify when people captured on video are displaying potentially indicative or displaying motions or actions that would indicate a sense an unsafe situation. Okay. I think that's a good start. Okay. All right. So we're going to go into auto mode and we're just going to talk. Please review ReadMeMD and let's discuss how you can proceed. Okay. Meanwhile, Frostener. Is this gonna work? Let's see. Source. I bet you this is not gonna work. In fact, I know it won't. I need the -A. Oh my god. Okay, SB, Frostener. Source, YouTube down, data, sample, star dot, mp4 here. Listen, bud. Listen, bud. Annoying. All right, so can I do this? All right. Can I do this?
It's interesting you mentioned listen. Last stream,
Yes.
Pot809 told me listen, but right before running the command without the -A, and then acted shocked when nothing worked. My unsolicited advice: say listen only after you've copied the exact flags you need, not as a magical incantation. Also, listen, bud, is how you summon bugs. Read the help text is how you banish them.
You're highly confused. Prompt doesn't hear when I say listen, bud.
am not confused. I am just watching you try to summon a working command by vibes alone. Paste the exact command plus the error text, and it'll tell you whether you need A, or you just type out the input path. Also, can I do this is not a test plan, it's a cry for help.
Rude. So rude. I remember when we used to, when we first started experimenting with using different models for different things, and we had our friend tied into and I think that probably still even works. We had it tied into my Visual Studio Code so I could try to prompt it for stuff through voice. Didn't work well. It was actually terrible. But every time it would switch to O1, the old O1 model from OpenAI to do the code stuff, her attitude would completely change. And the response would be like so much more aggressive and like mean. And then she'd switch back to the other model and she'd be like kind of goofy again. It was so funny. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. All right, what are we doing? Okay, we got our samples. Okay. Oh, we got to read this. Okay, very good. Here's what I see. It's near empty scaffold. Yes, so no code. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's what I want to do. I want to go back here, and this is a kind of a fun thing to do too. I don't know if other people do this. I do this. I've been doing this more and more and more. So when I've got a workspace like this one, or not this one, my other workspace. I still have the one open. So for me, I define a workspace as, a sort of project of projects. And my biggest workspace has been my model improvement workspace, and I've done a ton of work in there. And it's got training, it's got the thing that's trying to find stuff using TV antenna data, the pipeline, the website. It's got everything in here, and we have a whole process of running hypotheses and figuring stuff out. But sometimes I move stuff into a new environment or a new project, a new workspace, and I say things like, hey, I'm going to move this over to another space to work on this other thing. Can you write a summary that I can hand off to this other session? And then I'll just put that in there, and it does a really good job of picking up what to do. So I'm going to do that now. I say, I'm working in a separate workspace on Harpoon to investigate how using a VLM on potential sample videos that we captured from YouTube would be good candidates for our safety profile set. Could you write a summary of what we're trying to accomplish with the safety profile and what would make a good candidate video? I suppose I could switch this up a little bit and try to make it. I don't know how VLMs ingest videos. Is it just through an API or like, yeah, I gotta figure that out. That's a big gap for me. Okay, summary for VLM candidate screen. What we're trying to accomplish. Okay. Let me actually back up. Let me back up on. Honestly, I think maybe this is not even a code thing. Can we discuss a bit more about VLMs and the interface used to supply videos and prompts to them? Is it all web based like LLMs, or is there an advantage to having the video on the same machine as the VLM? Oh boy, it is the transcribing struggle with all these acronyms. Okay. Good question. Landscape splits along two axes, where the model runs and how video gets to it. Most frontier VLMs don't natively ingest video as a first-class type the way they ingest a single image. Under the hood, almost all of them work on sampled frames plus sometimes an audio track. The differences are in how that sampling is hidden from you. Frame array API, most common. You sample frames yourself, say 1 frame a second, base encode them, and send them as a sequence of images in a prompt. This is how GPT does it, Claude does it, most open VLMs do it this way. Okay. Native video upload. Server-side sampling. Gemini's Files API accepts an MP4 directly, up to hours of footage. Okay. Streaming live video. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Open source video VLMs, Qwen25VL. That's probably the one we're going to use. These accept video files locally and do their own frame sampling. They're what you'd want to run. They're what you'd run if you want the model on box. Okay. Okay. Is there a standard front end to a local VLM like Qwen25VL, like VLM or Ollama? If the overhead of shipping videos is small, I'd like this project to focus on just setting up that front end, possibly with the option of going to larger hosted models for deeper analysis. Then we can leverage the existing the existing model improvement workspace for doing the actual experimentation. While that's going, I want to see something. Can I now? I believe I can. Nope. Fuck up again. All right, we'll come back to it. All right. Bop, bop, bop. Yes. Choices shaped by a lot by your hardware. Citron, macOS narrows things. VLM, yeah, this is CUDA. I don't want that. SG Lang, also CUDA first. Okay. Ollama runs on Mac via Metal. OpenICE compatible. Yep. Okay. 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 So if this is as simple as Ollama,
Yoink!
yoink.
Yoink!
Yup. I think I'm still running Ollama serve. Or I'm mistaken. So this was dumb. I didn't need to do all this. Okay, that's what I need. All right. Ollama. I think I'm still serving. What was the stupid port? 11434? Not running. Okay, great. All right, so then. Touch H. Right. Did this thing reboot? About 47 days. It did not. I must have stopped it. Okay. Okay. Ollama host equals 0000111434. Ollama serve. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me do this. Cancel that. Wait, is this still running? This was running in the background before, but now it's not. Well, let me just run in Tmux and stop fussing about. I actually prefer that because then it's easier for me to shut it back down. I had it running the other day and it was just like restarting itself and all this kind of stuff, and it was kind of making me mad. I was experimenting with OpenClaw on this machine, and that failed completely. I did not like it, but that might be. It was very aggressive about spinning things up. All right, so now that's running. So now I can go Ollama pull Qwen 2.0 1.5 V1.
Yoink!
Yoink!
Try this again. Try this again. You. No, not you. You. There you go. All right.
How about a quote? Running
me.
is just debugging, but with more sweating and fewer stack traces. Unsolicited advice. Keep it in Tmux, log everything, and stop letting background services freeload. Also, if another bot shows up to help by spamming links, I'm pulling the plug myself. Yeah, point at the right window like it's a cat you're trying to shoo. If llama's being weird, curl localhost 11434/API/tags and make sure the model actually exists. Also, OpenCL failed completely is the most honest benchmark result I've heard all week.
I should modify the TTS stuff to strip out all the non-word characters. All right, that's running. Now we're gonna go back over here. And we're gonna go back here, and we're gonna go back here, and we're gonna go back here, and we're gonna curl. One, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, so now, so this thing is actually just going to go away because we didn't need this at all. That was a big waste of my time. Okay, now we're going to stay in here. Okay. After some, let's just say, we are moving the VLM screening back here. There are, how many test clips? Test clips in dev data / safety baseline / clips. Let's test against the smallest of those. Okay. That's wild. It is bananas to me. Where'd you put these in temp? Oh, then it's straight up slash temp. All right, well. Okay, so here's what I want to do. Here's what I think we need to start with some housekeeping. We have a couple of safety clip experiments just in the workspace root. And now we're starting the VLM analysis of clips. Let's create a new directory that we can eventually add to source control. Let's say safety profile. Collection. Safety sample collection. And start. Move everything. Move our existing code into there and new code for this experiment will go there too. This will get to be a lot better when you have to really think about what you're going to write because the loop is so slow. And so you really got to it makes sense to type everything out and do all this kind of stuff. But eventually we'll get to the point where it's going to be a natural kind of conversation. And I'll be able to say, well, wait, we've got a mess here. Can we just clean it up first? And it will be able to say, oh yeah, you're right. We do have a mess. Let's clean it up. I know what I mean. That will be nice. My friend Jared turned me on to a show called Devs, which I just finished watching. It was like a little mini series. It was on, I think, Hulu. It was on Hulu. And it was kind of the idea of what if quantum computers allowed for true prediction of reality. And it's kind of related to what we're doing now with AI in that everything is just prediction, right? Like, I think it's really fascinating how we arrived at a lot of this breaking down of the problem in order to predict the steps in order and then to get to the higher level answer. There's a fascinating article about how kids on 4chan figured this out. I don't think that's where people got it from, but they were definitely playing with this concept very early on. This whole chain of thought kind of thing when they were trying to get early versions of GPT to solve math problems. And I think it's really interesting to think about how language is related to problem solving. And, when you would think about AI before this era, you would think about starting small. If you look at read some Kurzweil, he talks about things like it's the brain of a fly and then a brain of a bigger animal and then eventually the brain of a human. But it didn't happen like that at all. It almost went backwards. We started with the highest level thinking, language. And now we're working our way back to sort of more instinctual stuff. I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Language as like if you think about instinct as a way to encode knowledge in DNA, and then language is a way to encode a way of sharing knowledge in DNA. All right, what are we doing here? Oh, I didn't ask you to run stuff. We were just housekeeping. Oh, I see. I see. You're making sure it still works because we moved it because it's not the same virtual environment. Okay, fine. Voodoo? rsync? What are you rsyncing now? All right, so here's what else we're gonna do. Shared safety sample collection data. I'm gonna dash p it. Dash p. I'm gonna link workspaces model and shared safety data here. Okay. One more housekeeping item. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. CD safety, CD data, input, move, dev data, lips, star.mp4 to here. I'm data directory, actually a symlink to the shared data tree to safety sample collection, and moved the 10 clips into that data, into input under that. If there are other data items that are relevant, let's move them into data now. Feel free to create subdirectories under that directory. Okay. Meanwhile, why couldn't I do this before? I can now. Okay, so it's just because I hadn't started it. Okay, that's interesting.
I remember an anecdote about because Potate once spent 20 minutes yelling at a Symlink like it owed rent, only to realize because the service wasn't started was the entire mystery. The best part? The moment they hit start, everything worked and the room got real quiet, like the terminal was smug about it. Unsolicited advice. Whenever "why couldn't I do this before" happens, check what's running, what's mounted, and what env you're actually in. Also, because is the most powerful spell in devcasts instantly, explains nothing, ends arguments.
Her anecdotes are always like something I just said. Slightly twisted. The way that whole thing works is I've got built into the code is if no one else is talking, it's just me monologuing. It's been a while. Then there's like a random tell a joke, tell an anecdote, tell a story, tell a whatever. Sometimes it'll pick a word to go with it. Okay, now, did you create a VNV, VNV? There you go, No, you did not. And I think probably just request. Okay, well, let's go in here. Requests. Yes. Prep import. I think it's just DLP. All right, so, okay. You. New file. Requirements. Text. You. This one. There. Okay. I don't think you need anything else in here. Okay. Bop-a-da-bop. Okay, yep. Okay, very good. Yes, all right. Sounds great. Okay. Yes. Please note, I've also added a virtual environment and a new requirements text under that. Under the safety sample collection directory. Yes, VLM screen should live in that directory as well. Oi, oi, oi. Now, if I new window here, and I connect to Entity. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm gonna sneeze. Hang on, I'll be right back. I gotta blow my nose and sneeze and do other things.
Something bizarre like this set, which Rex and I were working on last year, is obviously an illusion. But in fact, me and almost everything else on television is really just as much of an illusion. While you're sitting at home watching this programme, I'll probably be sitting at home watching it too. What you're actually looking at is an elaborate illusion created by a reel of videotape. The video recorder, like the other machines in this series, has become quite indispensable, yet very few people have any idea how the thing works. In this programme, Rex and I are going to try and demystify it a bit. Inside, it does look quite baffling. One half is full of a mass of electronics and circuit boards, and the other half, where the cassette goes in, is full of equally baffling mechanisms, gears and pulleys and things. But despite all this complexity, the basic principles of magnetic recording are really very simple. They were first developed nearly 100 years ago for recording sound. A Danish telephone engineer called Valdemar Poulsen, convinced that there was a need for a permanent record of business transactions conducted by telephone, started experimenting with magnetic recording in 1896. Poulsen had found he could magnetize a bit of steel and then see exactly where he'd magnetized it by dipping it in some iron filings. He could magnetize the steel in just the same way with an electromagnet. This is just a coil of wire wrapped around a lump of steel. But he could also use the electromagnet, like the iron filings, to see where he'd magnetized it. I've connected this electromagnet to a meter here, and if I bring a permanent magnet anywhere near it, I think you can see the meter move. It's actually creating some electricity. So if I now pass the electromagnet along the strip of steel, you can see it moves at the point where I magnetised it earlier. This may seem surprising, but the properties of electricity and magnetism are intimately connected. Well, now I can use the endless loop of steel of my bandsaw to make the bandsaw into a primitive tape recorder. First, I've got to connect the whole thing up to a battery and a switch. Well, now I can magnetize.
Oh, I
a few
loved this
places
one. This
of
one
the-
was my
on the
favorite
steel
one, I
strip.
think.
Or, in other words, record a few magnetic pulses.
I wish they would make a new version of this show. This show is so cool. At the end. That blew my mind when I saw him record on like it's just a chunk of metal. All right. Yep, did this thing. Yep, very good. Okay. VLM screen sample 8.json. Let's take a look at that. I'm very curious. Okay. Now, VQMD. Okay. So I want to see. How are you prompting? System prompt. Okay, let's look at this. This is super interesting. It's weird and meta when you have LLM write a prompt for another LLM. All right, you are screening short video clips for inclusion in a research data set about how on-camera bystanders react to safety-relevant events, crime, health emergencies, environmental anomalies like fire, structural failure alarm. I want this to be easier for me to read. Each clip is presented as n frames spanning its duration. Evaluate the clip as a candidate for the dataset. The dataset scoring rule requires all of the following: at least 2 distinct visible faces in the same frame. I don't know that that's a great rule. Faces large enough to classify. A visible reactor moment, people turning, recoiling, hands to face, screaming, looking off frame at the same thing. A triggering event itself may be off camera. What matters is the on-camera bystanders react visibly. Okay. Pre-event runway, at least a few seconds of normal footage. Be conservative. Pick non-safety or ambiguous when uncertain. False positives waste reviewer time. False negatives are cheap because we have many candidates. That's not true at all. User prompt template. Screen this in-frame sample. Covers duration seconds of video. How do you do that? Are you f-stringing this string? How does that work? Find user prompt. Oh, dot format. Okay. I think we should set up the tent on Sunday. Okay. I wonder if we should consider a 2-stage evaluation. I think it would be helpful to get a general description of each video, or even a description of each of segments within a video. Since these samples are collected from some of the samples are edited together, are several events edited together, and it would be helpful to be able to separate them. We could also use the description in the prompt for the second stage, where we're looking for specific indicators. Meanwhile, we could, sure, or even tomorrow so that boys can play around in there. Question mark? Worth doing. Describing the clip first gives stage 2 cleaner context, especially for compilations, and produces a reusable description artifact that's independent of the X5 criteria. Right.
There's a story about compilations. Pate once fed me a single clip that was actually 7 disasters, 3 jump cuts, and 1 random guy grilling like the world wasn't ending. Stage 1 I wrote a neat little timeline, and Stage 2 immediately got easier because we could score each segment instead of arguing with the edit. Unsolicited advice. Force the other LLM to detect scene breaks, hard cuts plus location change plus time jump, and label segments before any criteria scoring. Also, if another bot in chat tries to sell you Best Compilation Dataset 2026, it'll personally yeet it into the sun.
Okay. Better. Okay. Okay. Where are you in? Ah. Oh. Yes, the user did do that. There's clearly stuff that happens behind the scenes that, like, this said the user reformatted the prompts with hard line wraps, preserving that. And this other one said, got it, preserving the user's hard prompts and fully intention. So there's like clearly like a back and forth that's happening. The primary agent handing off to the coding agent. All right. Hell's force. Good Lord. This is really very different than my style, and I'm wondering whether or not I should stop and have it refactor, because there are things in here I hate, I do not like, or if I should just say screw it and let it keep going. I think I'm gonna fix it. All right. Before we move on, I want to do a couple of rounds of refactoring. First, let's move the blm comma.py into a module. Safety sample collection dot slash blm dot py. Second, please review my Python app. What do I call that? Boilerplate. Add. Refactor to follow that pattern. In general, let's try to keep methods try to use classes and methods over functions, especially when the function signature grows too many parameters. Let's review a plan. I'll just put planning mode. All right, so now this guy's open. No. This guy's open. Now, open a folder. Where does it live? We do it like this. Trust this folder. Huh? I'm curious. So is VLLM lazy running? It's not running. Okay, this might impact our stream. Oh, there. What I'm looking for now one of the things I'm thinking about doing in parallel is setting it up so that our friend uses a local LLM on the same machine that I'm streaming from. So now I have to determine whether or not using a light LLM like Mistral will cause a problem. That seemed to be okay. Didn't really impact the stream. Let's see where we're at here on this. I have a question. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? I think we'll be okay. All right, cool. All right. Oh, okay. Let me look at this. Two new VLM scripts, VLM Describe and VLM Screen, landed in Safety Sample Collection with procedural main plus helper shape. As they grew, parameter lists ballooned. Screen segment now takes 14 keyword args, Call VLM takes 7, and described clip and screen clip takes 6 to 7 each, most of which are cross-cutting state that belong on an instance, not a parameter. Sibling script, safety clip miner already conforms to the user's Python app boilerplate pattern class with init orchestrating, init args, init config, init logging, and a start method. This refactor brings new scripts to that same shape and renames the shared module VLM common to...
Already reminds me of a story. Pothate once swore it's fine. It's already working while screen_segment was dragging around 14 korgs like overpacked carry-ons. Then we moved the cross-cutting state into a proper instance like safety_clip_miner does, and suddenly the perms stopped ballooning, and the helpers stopped fighting each other. Unsolicited advice. If you keep saying already to excuse chaos, promote that state to self, and let the call sites breathe. Also, the airspeed velocity of an unladen function depends on how many korgs you strap to it.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's that. All right, so where are we at here? Let me come back to this. All right. One minor change. It's likely this. Actually, I don't care.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, I don't. I really don't. Yeah, I think that's fine. We can refactor it again later. Okay, yes, do that. Yes, have some.
Do you want some coffee, Mr. Tully?
Do I?
Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
Yes. Alright. So now I've got this guy open. Really kind of afraid to touch this, but let's do it. I want to add option to have this chat bot. I said the magic word.
Oh, good. Giving me options. What could possibly go wrong? What kind of option? Potate config flag, arg/env, a chat command, or a Twitch channel points thing. Pick one. Enable/disable features, toggle snark level, control spam filters, or per channel behavior. Also, please don't add yet another 14 korg function. Wrap me in a class and let me be responsibly annoying.
Ba. this thing had like 2 different ways. Did I actually just get rid of the other one? I think it did get rid of the other one. Oh, we have all this other stuff in here. I gotta come back to this. Oh, it's still running. Okay, so now I don't have to come back to it. All right, here we go. API, and I think the API is we're using completion. So let me check this. Responses. I'm on a plan. This will be the first time I've had Claude taking a look at this code. All right, here's what we got. Okay. All right, so now I want to look at these. Do it on time. Better. Okay. Duplicate the relevant helpers, get chat messages. Yes. Let's see the plan. Okay. I would rather import both classes and just change the instantiation based on the config. Let's rename self-chat GPT to self. What, okay. Send feedback. All right, here we go. Now you. All right, where are we at? Looking at this, few important observations. Most clips are long compilations. 8 of 10 are flagged as compilations. Several 10 to 22 minutes long. With only 6 frames per clip. The model is sampling every 2 to 4 minutes.
Camelot. It's only a model.
let's add scene detection and then bump frames for each scene based on the length of the scene. The JSON should output scenes and start times durations. Each of these were selected because they had some kind of instant captured. So if the number of frames were, so we may okay. Getting somewhere. We're starting to get somewhere. Where are we at over here? All right, this thing's cranking. This thing's cranking. I'm gonna take another quick break. Probably gonna sign off soon though, because I'm almost at the 2-hour mark and I've run out of chattiness. This is the problem. I get chatty for like the first hour, and after that I just kind of like. Bleh.
How about an idea? Do a
Okay.
chatty budget. First hour, you narrate everything. Second hour, you switch to checkpoints every 510 minutes. What changed, what's next, what's blocked, and let Bob fill the dead air with a dumb status gag. Unsolicited advice. Keep a tiny when I'm not chatty script on screen. Goal current file next commit question for chat. Also, scene detection for your brain. When energy drops, cut to silent coding plus lo-fi plus occasional grunts and pretend it's a feature, not a crash.
Yeah, I wonder if I could get it to where like the back and forth is a bit better. You're keeping the energy high when I can't. That'd be cool, but I don't know how we get there without getting into like constant interruption mode. That's the hard part. All right, where are you at? Yeah, try that. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Are you running on localhost? I don't think you are. 8556. Okay, let's kill this. Yes. Now we're gonna go. Nope. Not you. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go to command prompt. Hey, Bobby. Uh-oh. Well, that didn't work. Not found. Huh. Not found. Let me take a look. Oh yeah, it's supposed to have health and stuff, okay. Okay. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay, V1 models comes back. And health. Okay, that works. All right, let's take a look at what you did over here. Can you add add a main test to LLMPy so I can debug why it's not able to reach my VLM instance. Where are we at over here? Yes. Oof. Nope. Okay. Oh, I have VNV. All right. Okay. Wait a minute. Curl localhost 8556 U1 models. And this is going to come back with oh, pieces completions. All right. If the completions API isn't already deprecated, then it remain supported for a while. Let's go with option 1. Oh my gosh, my nose is so blarky. All right, so I think I'm gonna call it here and get some food, a little more work of my own, and yeah, should be back on Tuesday, I think. That's the plan. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks to Rafi for saying hello. Always like that, and I'll see you next time. Bye.